When we're looking at confidence statements, we're always forming them in this structure. So think of it kind of like a Mad Lib that you might have done, those little where you fill in the blanks with different types of words. Well, that's kind of what we have here. Our confidence statement needs to start with the fact that we are 95% confident that the proportion, okay, that's the confidence statements that we're making right now. There are other confidence statements, but that's the only one we're making in this chapter. So that is always going to be the case here, but it's the proportion of whatever the population is. So you need to identify the population. Remember, the population is going to be all of something. It won't be a small set of a specific number of people. It will be, that bigger group of that, the entire group, the entire population. And then in the blanks, you fill in the low value from the confidence interval and the high value from the confidence interval. Now, these could be as percents or as decimals. And so you have to take your p-hat, subtract your margin of error and your p-hat, and add the margin of error. So in this case, your p-hat comes from the number of favorable responses, which is 627, and the number of unfavorable responses, out of the total responses, so number of favorable responses over the total number of responses. And so you'll calculate that. You will get that as a decimal, and in the statement, they're asking these low confidence interval value and the high confidence interval value. Those are coming from decimals. And so we take and it ends up being 60.61, and we will subtract the margin of error that they gave us. Okay. It said explicitly in the problem that the announced margin of error is plus or minus 4 percentage points. And then we calculate this. In some of the problems, we do actually have to calculate that margin of error using the 1 over the square root of the sample size. But in this case, this problem gave us the margin of error. We needed to find p-hat and use that to fill in this statement that is always how we write our confidence statement. So we put that in our notes, but it's really good to emphasize that all of these confidence statements are written the same exact way. And you just need to fill in your population, the low value for your confidence interval, and the high value of the confidence interval, where your confidence interval values are coming from these two formulas.